What's the next question?
Day 9.
Day 9.
Day 9.
I can find what day 9 asked if you give me a second.
I have it here.
Okay.
How does Mary mature as a mother and model the shift from authority to release? Do you think there is a sense in which, toward the end of life, parents even transition to submission in proportion to their dependence on their children?
Well, Mary, we don't get a lot of glimpses of her. We do see her at the wedding in Cana, and it's interesting that she tells them to go talk to Jesus. Seems like a pretty mundane problem, and I don't know what she had in mind when she told them to go talk to him. Other than she had confidence in him to be able to do something about it. And she became, well, obviously she became, in some sense, a disciple of her sons. And so that was a big transition. What was the second part of that question?
Do you think there is a sense in which, toward the end of life, parents even transition to submission in proportion to their dependence on their children?
Yes. And maybe that is something, and I think someone else touched on this, maybe that's something we need to be talking about more. I think Sarah said about that. We need to be talking about it more and maybe helping people to do that. Because it is not the natural thing, and more, you often see older people fighting that. Some of it is you want your own independence, you want to stay in your own home, but sometimes they carry that out way beyond where they should be saying, I need help, will you help me? And we don't want to do that, we want to be independent.
Maybe I could have that next year for the conferences and Help Me Days.
Well, teaching people to learn to accept the natural progression in aging and to learn to ask for help rather than always trying.
Oh, that just reminded me, Dad, when we were little, when we get frustrated about something, he would not help us until we said, I need help, will you help me?
It's true, he used to do that.
What's the 5th letter of Hebrew?
Hey.
So are you going to let him do that when he's old?
Well, maybe we all need to learn to ask for help, though. We all, and in church we have to say, confess our shortcomings and say, can't do this.
Right, and if you live in a society and culture without sin and without shortcomings, without the Newton's apple that Chuck talks about, if you're never faced with or never admit a problem, then you can never be helped.
Okay, so it's day 11.
Or you need day 10's question. I've got it. Tiffany asks, how can I make this time in our lives that we are caring for Grandma meaningful and significant for my children? How will that differ from the ways that you will help Sarah possibly be a caregiver to her grandmother?
That's a hard. They ask hard questions.
They do.
You guys are troublemakers.
I think one of the best ways she makes it meaningful to her children is by having a good attitude in helping Grandma, and they are there and they see that. They see her attitude in the way that she acts, and then they can model that.
And if she weren't doing the right thing, they'd model that.
They'd model that also, right.
Which is what we said about the church. If the church does the right thing, the culture models it. If the church does the wrong thing, the culture models it.
That's a very deep
And how is that different from me helping you?
Yeah.
Well, it's different in degree. Obviously, Danielle and Josiah mostly are observers. They're not doers. Whereas you will be the active one doing. But I suppose modeling and encouraging and maybe trying to find you resources if I don't know myself what you should be doing.
Right.
But you will be the doer rather than, I will be more of the observer and you will be more of the doer in that situation. So it will be kind of a flip situation on hers.
Yep.
So Chuck, you had a thought in response.
which was that the creation is holographic. That is, a holographic orange would be such that if you divide it in half, you have two complete oranges instead of two halves of an orange.
Ooh, that would be cool.
So that you see, when Tiffany acts correctly toward her grandmother, toward grandma, that somehow resonates out into the whole universe because everything is related. It's like you were talking about wavelengths. You know, they have this thing called quantum entanglement. I don't understand it, but supposedly, I don't know how they ever figure it out, but the theory is that two atoms or ions or something can be engaged with each other, even though one goes to the other end of the universe, never stays.
Right,
Mm.
yeah.
It's not,
Yeah, there is and when they undergo some sort of discernible change in phase or state,
the other,
The other one.
the other one,
So I'm saying we're similar to that when random acts of kindness, you know, they reverberate throughout the universe somehow. One act, Jesus dying, they resurrected that reverberates.
Right, it changed everything.
Yeah.
okay,
Day 11.
Dale. Oh well.
And the question is,
Mr.
how
Harper.
do the events of
Day
day
11
11
bring about or influence your heart and tone of maturity?
and what are the events of day 11?
Well, the public vindication of Jesus Christ is what Jim calls it. In other words, Jesus said he was going to destroy the temple, and 3 days would raise up, and that happened when he was the temple, of course, and was raised up. But that was done to at most 500 people. But Jim says you couldn't forget that Jerusalem was destroyed. That was public. Therefore, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. He has authority, just as he said. That's it.
No.
I always like to go back to the old Victory House thing. You know, you are now administering the whole cosmos.
Well, is there a public vindication of mothering, and is there was a promise of there was the promise to the mother. Adam
Mhm.
said, Eve is the mother of all living, and the promise was that the woman, on 1 Timothy, the woman shall be saved through childbearing or the birth of the child. Is mothering, really, I think a question is mothering vindicated in Christ? Because
How is that?
mothering to society means nothing.
It has
It
has no economic value.
It is a zero. And Iowa just said, we don't care in marriage if there is a mother and a father. There are just two units. But had there not been godly mothers, would there have been a victory of Christ?
Well, no, obviously, I mean, the promise given in the garden to, your seed, his seed, Satan's seed, and the woman's seed, the seed of the woman is what crushed
Right.
Satan's head.
And as you think about as Jim calls them, the warrior babes of the Old Testament, the J